And so they were completely different cars on each one of those tires. And so I think what I learned the most in those years was how to manage tires, how to read and feel the tire. And once you're capable of doing that, you could do it to any car. And really what it comes down to anytime you're driving any car is the tire. That's the limit. And how you get the tire to the limit, keep it there, not overdrive it. If you do start to overstep it, how do you bring it back? And that's the one thing that being an H4 really taught me. And I'm able to apply it to anything that I drive.
Green flag.
Welcome to the Blind Apex Podcast, where amateur club racers tune in to get faster.
This episode is brought to you by Deechworks Fuel Systems. Use Apex 10 at checkout to save 10% on fueling your passion. If you want to support a podcast, this podcast, or any podcast, just share it with friends. Downloads, new listeners, all that stuff, it helps us. So, whatever. The business is done, right? Let's talk about this journey. I think I warned everybody about Corvettes. Luke McGrew came on the podcast, and I think they're the new Miata, and I think we have some proof, but I want to hear his opinion. Speaking of my guest, he's the part of the West Coast Mafia on, Race FF, and well, when 91 Octane was around as a podcast, John and Tony, please start producing again for us, so we have something to entertain ourselves with. And he's been the hot shoe, the wheelman from Mexico, West Coast, wherever any car he touches. Carlos, welcome back to the podcast, sir.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. It's good to be back.
Man. So I I feel bad, but I don't know how much of it gets back to you, but like me and John and Tony and Jaime, I swear we spent more time trying to make AI put you in like a Vato stance with New Balance and like cutoff jeans.
No, I didn't know about this, but they make fun of me so much that it just pile it on.
Yeah. No, there's no reason to make fun of you. Like, they have no idea. I have no idea, right? So I'm still in my clapped out Civic. Jaime's in clapped out Civics. Tony's got John converted him to BMW world. John's in the inline six world, right? And you've made a journey, a true journey. Like, from what I know, early on was some H4 Civic time, CRX time, and then you did some stuff in Mexico. I don't even know. I don't remember. Yeah. I should know, but I don't remember what car it was. But I know it was maybe
there was a bunch of
powered.
them. Yeah.
Right. Like, and then you've wheeled the S2000. You raced the spec Boxster.
Right.
And now you have the lowrider themed helmet inside of a yellow. Is it a C5?
It's a C5, yeah. C5 CO6. Okay. Yeah.
So so first off, where can everybody find you on Instagram that needs to find you?
So CVR49 on Instagram. Yeah, shoot me a DM, send me a funny message, and we'll shoot the shit.
Yeah, absolutely. So I saw some stuff about like Jaime came over. I don't know who else came over. You guys were changing.
I had the whole squad over there. I had
seal.
everyone. I had everyone over there.
Yeah.
Everyone from SoCal was at the shop.
Right. And you, what were you guys doing? A rear main seal on the LS?
So I had just gotten the car. I bought the car. It's a long story. I bought the car, but I wasn't around because of work. Finally, I had it in my hands, and it was leaking a ton of oil from the rear main seals. So we had to pull the transaxle out. And dude, I don't know how to work on these cars. Like I have no idea about pulling these torque tubes and transaxles and the tools. You need specific tools for it. And it's not a difficult car to work on, but you do need specific tools for it. And I got under the car, I sized it up, and I just thought, dude, there's no way I could carry this, even if I get a transmission jack. There's no way. So I just phoned everyone. I'm like, John, Tony, Jaime, everyone. They brought the wives. Everyone came over. I was like, everyone take a corner. I had enough manpower to lift the whole damn Corvette up onto the lift.
But
You know, we weren't taking any risk.
so I don't want to
Yeah.
be the guy that says I made you drive a Corvette, because I believe price per performance, they replaced the
Yep.
Miata hands down.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? With Miatas, and I still have my CRX. They're getting expensive. Just parts for my CRX are expensive. I know a friend of mine has a Miata, and she spends quite a bit of money on it. And yeah, they're not the cheap, good speed per dollar cars anymore. And I think that's where the Corvettes are coming in now.
So you're a coach, an instructor, a racer. Before we get too deep into the Corvette,
Okay.
should a beginner buy a Corvette?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, it bites. I want to say it's easy to drive, like dynamically, it's easy, but that throttle will bite at you. Like it snaps back at you when the power kicks on. Uh, my Corvette has 315s all around, and it'll spin the tires on, first through fourth, it'll spin the tires. So,
And what's your power
ma-
level? Stockish?
it's stock. I think it made 347 to the tire.
Okay.
And a freaking diesel truck of torque. And
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think it's the right car for a beginner, but it's not the worst car for a beginner. I'll tell you this: the spec Boxster was more difficult to drive.
Okay.
And, no one thinks of a Boxster as a snappy, dangerous car, but the Boxster, my girlfriend has a Cayman. That thing's way harder to drive than the Corvette.
You brought it up, so let's go down that rabbit hole, because I sort of wanted to progress like CRX to Boxster to Vette, but let's go Boxster to Vette. Let's talk about your spec Boxster time and the pluses and minuses versus the Vette, because in the end we're going to wrap all of this up, because John from 91 Octane has the meme that where the vets are always holding him up. So I want to make sure that if I have to pay for it, I want you to get out there with him.
Yeah, I used to complain about the same thing.
Yeah. So but let's talk about the spec Boxster.
Okay.
The challenges, and then maybe how it compares to the Corvette.
Yeah. So one thing I want to clarify, it is a spec Boxster, and we should emphasize. There's a lot you can do to a Boxster to improve them and make them so much better than what a spec Boxster is. But a spec Boxster itself is a challenging car to drive at the limit. They have really skinny tires. The series would only allow us one set of tires per weekend, which on those cars was pretty tough because it fries the tires. By the time you get to the second day, you've smoked the tires. And so a lot of it is in tire conservation. Obviously, the weight distribution, real obvious with it being a mid-engine and the tail wants to come around. But one thing I learned was because of the McPherson strut design of that suspension, it gains very little camber when it compresses. And that's what makes it difficult to drive, is that as you're loading the car, you're losing more and more and more grip as you load it. The camber doesn't match the road, no matter what. You can add a bunch of static camber, but you'll still never have enough. And so you have to be very mindful of that. Some of the tracks out here have camber to them, like Willow Springs has a ton of camber to it. And when you get in there, you dive the nose, you trail brake, you dive the nose, and the nose of the car gets into the camber and it's got a ton of grip. and it tricks you, it baits you into going even harder into the corner. But the problem is that the front hooks and turns in, but the tail doesn't follow it. The tail wants to keep going straight, and it'll catch you, and you'll spin out. And dude, I had so many spins on that car when I was learning to drive it. I look like a total beginner. It humbled me. Like, that car taught me a lot.
Yeah.
One of the things that was really awesome about it was the Bosch ABS on it with the Brembo calipers. Dude, it makes you look like a superhero under the brakes. I mean, you could brake so late, and that ABS just saves your ass every time. It's so good.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
You're going to have to remind me, but we're going to talk about that in general. But at the end,
the first time I tasted that ABS, I went, holy shit, dude, this is another world. This is unreal. I remember I sent the data to my friend Graham Downey, and he didn't know the details. He gets back at me and he says, dude, how are you braking like this? He's like, this is insane. I can't believe you can brake like this. I said, Bosch ABS, dude. He says, oh, no wonder. He says, dude, this is superhuman. I was like, yeah, because it's the Bosch ABS. It's not me.
Yeah, mash on it and let it do its work, right?
Yeah, literally stomp that pedal, and it just makes you look so good.
Okay. I mean, we're putting the cart before the horse. There is a segment, for those folks who don't listen to the end, there's a segment all year 2026 where we've been talking about ABS. So we're going to get his full download on ABS and stuff at the end. But okay, you talked a lot about the setup of the car, the front being planted when you trail in, but the rear wanting to do what it wants to do.
Yep.
On the Porsche, on the Boxster itself. Let's talk about the Corvette a little bit. How much have you driven this Corvette?
I've only done one event in it, and it was a small track, so pretty limited experience on it. I think I got a pretty decent feel for it, but we're going on the Big Willow Springs track next month, so yeah, that'll be a whole other experience with it.
Okay. I know plenty of folks with Corvettes.
Okay.
It's I hate to say it's the midlife crisis car, because I don't want to put you there. You're still my beach boy with the surfboard and like chilling, but
I just came back from a surf trip.
See?
I literally just flew home from a surf trip.
So the on the East Coast, it's not even midlife. It's like there's the racers that I know. There's a crisis. They get into a crisis.
Okay.
They've gone from a slower car, maybe from a spec car, and then they're like, I want to full boogie. And they all end up in some sort of Corvette. And
it does
eventually,
that real well.
I'm sure. The stock raw numbers are as a Honda child, right? Like K24, 8th gen Civic guy. They're ridiculous. I don't understand it. I live in a world where like 245 front tires is a big thing for me. When you start talking 315, 305,
3 anything,
like 3 anything, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What is that? Right? Like,
yeah.
But they go to this Corvette and they have a dance with it.
Yep.
Some of them are like, it's too dangerous. The ones that want to like try to evolve to the nth degree, and others are like, it fits in this class, and we're talking NASA-ish stuff, right? It fits in this class, but it doesn't fit in that class. And it could be too fast here or not fast enough here or not. Something is off, right?
Right.
I have a hard time seeing where anything is off when you're talking about easily fits 300 with tires, has a ridiculously low drag coefficient, gobs of power, and it's not necessarily like an ill handling car, right? So
where
the Porsche took time to learn. You've had one
Yes.
event. Now you're very experienced. You've had one event, but you've had tons of
Yep.
experience. And in that one event, you're like, okay, this is a great car, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. It took me the outlap on that car because I went to a track to test drive it before I bought it. On the outlap, I said, I'm buying this shit. Yeah. I went out there. I hadn't completed a lap and I said, I'm so buying this. I don't care what
Oh,
happens after today. I'm buying this. Yeah.
tell me about the outlap. Where were you? What were you doing? And what made you decide you're going to buy this car?
I mean, it's a long story on how I ended up there to test the car. We can get to that later. But on that outlap, I get to the track, Chuckawalla Raceway, and my friend who owned it at the time, her name is Jean. She was competing with this car in Corvette Challenge. It's a West Coast time attack, time trial series. I'm not sure if they have it in the East Coast, but it's pretty big out here. And she's waxing everyone in street class in this car. And at this point, she had convinced me to come out and test drive it. And so I hop in it, and she walks over and says, make sure you shut off the TC button in the center. So I press that, and she jumps in her boyfriend's S2000 right in front of me. That thing's a rocket. I've been working on that thing at my shop. And she takes off. I give her space, and I just give myself space because I'm trying to learn everything about this car. And so I create space. I drop into third gear. I'm just coasting the thing out of there, but I'm in fourth. I drop into third. I floor it, and my helmet slams into the back seat. And I went, fuck yeah, I'm buying this. That's all I need.
I mean, yeah, this is, I sent my flywheel to the moon apparently in my car, but I really want to get you out here, put you in my car for like an HFGT at Hyperfest and just be like, go stomp on kids, put the big tune in it, and an H2 car with all the horsepower, and just be like, go get them. Because
watch me get my ass kicked.
No. I promise you, my car is completely limited by this moron, right? Like that. I'm one. I'm an idiot mechanic. Two, I'm an idiot driver, right? Like, this is what we do as amateur racers, right? You had to call out the posse to change the rear main seal, right? I solo put my engine and transmission and flywheel and new clutch all back together, and I boneheaded it because I was like, those dowel pins are good enough. And my buddy's like, yeah, they look terrible. I would never have put the engine on the transmission with those dowel pins. And I was like, yeah, the noses were a little rounded, but the whole thing was pretty good. And he's like, nah, Sam. And now I'm paying, like a $3,200 minimum penalty for it, right? Like engine, transmission, and all the accessories. Yeah. But
yeah, that's rough.
When you get in the car, but you're at what, 300 something horsepower in this car?
Yeah, 340 or it's 347 or 367, something like that. Yeah.
In the world of modern cars, that's not that much.
No, it's not. Yeah.
You're looking at the new Mustangs with 400, 500, depending on the model. The Camaros are the same.
Yeah. I just drove an M2 competition. And dude, I can't believe they just hand that to people. Like, here you go. Have fun at the track in this. I'm like, holy shit, this thing's so fast and dangerous. Just anyone could just buy that and go to the track.
Okay, but
yeah,
you've one. Are you putting a cage in this Vette?
It has a roll bar. Has a 4-point roll bar.
Okay.
At the end of the year, I want to gut it out and put a proper full cage in it.
Okay. What are your goals for it?
I don't know, man.
Okay.
So
that's fair.
I should tell you. I should tell you how I bought it or why I bought it.
Let's go.
Okay, so I've been working on my personal CRX that I haven't driven in almost 10 years. I started working on it and I'm thinking I'm going to get this running again and use it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it because they're kind of outdated. There's no more Honda Challenge on the West Coast.
Right.
Even something like GLTC is not quite realistic out here because we only get one event at Laguna Seca and that's about 6 hours away. So it's not really worth it for us. I
Yeah.
wish we had more of them. We just don't get it out here. And so I was just thinking, I just want to do my own thing with something. And then that Corvette had been at my shop. It's my friend Jean's car, was my friend Jean's car. And I did exhaust work for her. I did some other fab work on it. It's the Z06, so they have the titanium mufflers from the factory.
Mm-hmm.
And there's these little bypasses they weld on them. So I had done that amongst other little things to it. She comes by when the car's done, picks it up. And from there, she took it to Ryaction to get new dampers on it. And that night, the car gets stolen from Reaction.
What?
They cut the locks. Yeah. So they break into Reaction. They cut the locks on her enclosed trailer. They rip the car out of there, and they just take off. It's all on camera. Dudes just take off in that car, and it disappears. The next morning, we all post it. This Corvette's missing. If you see it anywhere, please let us know. And it was a random weekday, I think like a Wednesday or something like that. That afternoon at 5 p.m., the dudes that stole it took all the decals off of it because it was like a fully vinyled out race car looking thing. They took all the decals off and they go on a joyride in LA. They're just ripping on the freeway out here through the streets. And local sheriffs catch up. They see this freaking yellow Corvette drifting around the freeway. So they go after it. It gets into a high speed pursuit. It outruns the cops. But in the middle of outrunning the cops, it's on E85. It runs out of fuel. And these dudes abandon the car in a neighborhood and run on foot. And they got away. Till this day, they don't know who stole it. But the car gets recovered. And, I get in touch with my friends about it. And a couple of days later, Jean tells us that she doesn't want the car anymore. She just feels terrible about the whole thing. She's uncomfortable about it. And she's going to get rid of it. And I just thought, man, that sucks. I just did a bunch of work to it, and I wanted to see her go even faster in it. Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
But I understand. I understand why she feels that way. And she's saying, well, maybe I could just get a C7 and we just continue the project. We just continue everything we've been doing with the C7, with Reaction, with you, with everyone else. And I thought, okay, whatever you're comfortable with. I understand that was really shitty. And around this time, a friend of mine bought a BMW. And I was like, dude, that car's so cool. Sell it to me. And he says, I just bought it. I'm not selling it to you. I'm like, come on, sell it to me.
You were about to go down the BMW trap.
Yeah.
Too.
So my buddy Graham Downey buys his BMW, pulls up to my shop to borrow some tools. And I said, dude, just sell it to me. And he wouldn't. So then I was shopping around. I looked at a Lotus Elise, just looked at a couple of cars, and I just couldn't make up my mind on anything. And then Gene contacts me about the car. I don't know. We got in touch about something. And I just thought, dude, I don't know. Your Corvette, I think that might work for me. And she says, yeah, why don't you come test drive it? She says, I think this would be a great car for you. And that's how I ended up at the track. There was a Honda Time Attack Challenge I went that weekend with my friends Joey and Crystal that run that. So I went out there to hang out with them. The Corvette was there. And she says, test drive it, see if you like it. And that's when I did that half a lap and decided to buy it. And
so it's what is it? Honda Time Attack Challenge?
Yes, Honda Time Attack Challenge and Corvette Challenge often run together.
Okay, so Jaime's covering the Honda Time Attack Challenge on Race FX. So
yes, he is.
Check him out because he's a homie, and if you're interested in fast Hondas, he's down, man. That's all he does. He just loves Hondas.
They're competing in Las Vegas next weekend. So Honda Time Attack Challenge and Corvette Challenge, or at Las Vegas next weekend.
Okay, so all right. So assuming, let's say you spend a couple of events in the Corvette Challenge, right?
Okay. Yep.
What changes obviously she hasn't run on the Reactions. So we know you're getting the Reactions on the car, but what are you doing anything else to this car?
So No, we didn't. Well, we put Falcon tires on it, obviously, because I
Okay.
work with them. So it's going to be on Falcon tires. The same reaction dampers that she gave it to me with. They're the single adjustables. They want me to run those for a few events before we go to doubles.
Okay.
And running Corvette Challenge next month. But after that, we will make some changes to run it at Grid Life and Street GT.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm allowed more horsepower. So we're going to do an intake, throttle body, headers, because it's on catalytic converters and stock manifolds right now. There's not much to it.
Carb legal, boys.
Yeah, it'll probably pass smog here in California. What else? I mean, not a whole lot. That category's pretty restricted. It'll probably make another 80 horsepower. And for Corvette Challenge, we're putting a little wing on it, a little ducktail in the back, because the big track, it needs it at the big track out here. But I can't use that at Grid Life because C5s didn't come with wings. So that'll have to come back off. And that's kind of it, man. Just kind of drive it, do a bunch of alignment and setup changes to it, and just
Simple
enjoy
stuff.
it. Yeah, simple stuff. It doesn't need much. And the car's pretty awesome from the factory.
Yeah, they're up. I mean, if you go on Facebook Marketplace, C5s or maybe not Z06s, but C5 Corvette is ridiculously cheap.
Yeah,
right?
it is. Yeah.
They're
I was
so
doing the
affordable.
numbers on it. I was looking at, so I spent less to buy the Corvette, which is pretty much time attack ready. It's got a cage. It's got the what the hell, Geiken diff, final drive. It's got all kinds of shit done to it. It's ready to go. Like, it's got track records out here. I spent less to buy this car than I was going to spend to get my CRX running again.
Yeah. And that's saying something, right? Like,
yeah.
Well, I won't say that because I have my retirement plans when I cut my jeans and I put my New Balance on are totally different than you. But still, like, I won't say I will forsake Honda, but outside of my current situation, the K Series engine is pretty. I mean, I'm an idiot. But the K Series engine is a work of art, right?
Yeah, they're great.
They're amazing. But the LS, it's I don't want to compare the two directly because they're uncomparable in my opinion. Plenty of people have tried, right? But in the V8 world, LS1 to LS whatever number they're on now, right? Like,
yeah,
the evolution period of the LS has taken substantial leaps every LS, right?
Right.
They have different intake ports, they have cathedrals, they have all sorts of stuff, right? Honda went D series, H series, F series, sort of F and H were together, B series, K series, right? Like that was the evolution of Honda, right?
Right.
The fact is, horsepower per liter, Honda's win, but they still don't win the displacement war, right? Honda never went big. So when you want displacement and torque and overall numbers, the LS is kind of what everybody goes to, right? You can LS swap anything.
Yeah, anything. Okay? Yeah.
I drive a K native car. You drive an LS native car. So I compare our two, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
It's easy. It's an easy button, right?
Yeah.
So I want to go back a little bit. I went on a little bit of tangent, but I want to go back a little bit. Talk to me about your CRX. Is it still H4 Honda Challenge spec?
No, it's not. It has a K20 in it. And it's with a little bit of work, it could become an H2 car. And that wouldn't be too expensive. Only problem is I can't do anything with it out here. There's no H2. I have the Willwoods for it. I would just have to wire it, get some axles, and that becomes a H2 car. Yeah. I had
which
other
K20
plans.
Are you? Which K20?
The really shitty one, what's it called? A3?
The A3. Yeah, the
Yeah.
EP3. I
Yeah, the
wouldn't get
EP3
so
engine.
down on the EP3. You can,
Hmm.
the way the rules are written is the problem, but not
Right.
the problem. They're going to get really mad at me for even saying that. Even the people in the paddock
Oh,
will.
well,
But
I don't know much about H2 because I never ran in it, but I
mm,
believe that at the time when I bought the engine, because it's been years, that was the only engine we were allowed to use.
oh yeah, 10 years
Yeah,
ago, the
right.
K20A3 probably was the only engine you were
What?
allowed to use.
So every H2 car out here had an A3 with the 5 speed.
Okay.
That was the only way to do it out, at least that I knew of. And that's so this engine came out of the AEM car, the
Oh,
red
okay.
Integra. Yeah.
Hmm.
So my engine and transmission. But when that car got parted out, I bought that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but the last time you drove it in anger, was it H4 ish spec?
Yes, it was H4 2016 Nationals.
Okay.
And I hit a legend and it flipped and it was chaotic. And
Legends don't need to be out there with us. I don't. They're like almost open wheel cars, so
Yeah.
and they're
So
a
these are
little
the old
aggressive
legends.
themselves. Yeah,
These
the
are the
old
old
legends.
legends. Yeah. The new legends are fast.
Well, but the old legends could be kind of fast, but their weakness was they kept like 2/3 of their tire under the fender, so it was
Yeah.
like insta wheel contact with those guys. It's dangerous, but so let's talk about an H4 CRX
Hmm.
and how you apply the craziness, because the H4 CRX is not fast, air
Uh-huh.
quoting for because I
Yep.
but driven in anger, it teaches you a lot. So what can you apply from your H4 days to your Z06 days?
I think the one thing that driving an H4 taught you was because I raced H4 for I think 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went through the Toyo tires, which was God, what was that tire called?
RA1s.
The RA1. So we went through the RA1, and then they brought the R888 for 1 year, which was a
Mm-hmm.
disaster. So then we went
Yeah.
back to RA1s, and then we went to the RR. And so they were completely different cars on each one of those tires. And so I think what I learned the most in those years was how to manage tires, how to read and feel the tire.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're capable of doing that, you could do it to any car. And really, what it comes down to anytime you're driving any car is the tire. That's the limit. And how you get the tire to the limit, keep it there, and not overdrive it. If you do start to overstep it, how do you bring it back? And that's the one thing that being an H4 really taught me. And I'm able to apply it to anything that I drive.
So, okay, let's go down this path, because one, I wanted to talk about it, and two, nobody's brought it up yet. So you're my huckleberry, okay?
Okay.
What in your experience, is it any car you can just go, I'm gonna learn tire contact and feel?
Yeah, for me, anytime I get into a car on the outlap of that car, I try to push the nose into understeer and see where that begins to break. And if it's a rear drive car, or even if it's not, I try to break the rear loose on that outlap. And so I overdrive it into understeer and I overdrive it into oversteer to get an idea of where it's going to snap and how it's going to snap, and is it going to come back to me. And like
Mm-hmm.
say some cars don't want to come back at the rear once they let go. So that's oh shit, don't overstep the rear because it's not coming back. Some are very docile and they come back, and you can learn
Like the
these things at low
Porsche never
speed.
wanted to come back, right? Like,
No, that thing's a bastard. Yeah, and the faster you went, the more momentum the engine and gearbox carried. So it got even worse.
right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean that car is a whole thing in itself. But yeah, so you can do these things at low speed on an outlap and get yourself a really good idea of what this vehicle is going to behave like, what this tire is going to behave like. And then as you start to pick up speed, you already have a pretty good idea of how it's going to react to you. And
Okay.
so, yeah, that's
And
kind of my
so
approach.
you do it with every car. So you learned it in
Every
your
car, yeah.
H4 car, but every
Hmm.
car you get out in, you're like, okay, let me go push the front grip and then let me
Hmm.
go see where the rear grip is.
Yeah, yeah. I actually learned it in karting when I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
It was the outlap. Let me see where this thing's going to snap past the point that I can't bring it back at low speed, and then let me see how this because they all understeer because of the axle. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, let me understeer, let me oversteer, understeer, and oversteer. And then you get an idea of where the setup is going to be. And then that transferred into the H4 car. And then I realized, oh, dude, a tire's a tire. Like, this works for everything that you drive.
So, I mean, I told you before we started press record that this is sort of off the cuff, but it's the Sunday night of the weekend that I was supposed to be at Summit Point, and I got like the practice session in, and my flywheel sheared off the crank and almost exited the chat. So let's dig into this. So
Okay.
you're doing the outlap.
Mm-hmm.
What is there like an internal math equation that you're doing? Like if these tires come up to temperature, if the tires also come up to temperature and pressure, can I get a little more out of them? Is there like some math, or are you just worried about the behavior of the car?
Yeah, more of the behavior of the car, expecting the grip to increase as pressures increase and temperature increases.
Mm-hmm.
It'll increase. And then, at speed, you're going to have a little more vertical load and aero load. So that increases until it doesn't.
Right.
But I guess for me, maybe I'm just making this up in my head for confidence. I intentionally lose the front end and intentionally lose the rear end. And I try to bring it back. And once I can figure out how to bring those back, I feel like those characteristics are going to be the same at high speed or similar enough at high speed. And I can go into it knowing, hey, when this thing snaps, I'm okay. I'm going to bring this thing back. And then I feel a little more confident to push the car.
Okay, so let's talk about this a little more because you're in front
Mhm.
wheel drive, rear wheel drive, you're in mid engine, rear wheel drive, you're in front engine, rear wheel drive, you're front cars, right? Like all of these
Right.
cars. So you're applying it across the board.
Yes. Yes, to all.
So where and how are you trying to feel like the left front, the right front, and in the rears? Like, and then how are you breaking it down? Like Summit Point, I was just at Summit Point. There's 10 turns. So on my
Okay.
outlap, I have 10 turns. Most of them are right-hand turns.
Hmm.
I have like 3 lefts, maybe 2 lefts. Sorry. I was consoling myself with some 12-year-old whiskey. Yeah, so my count is off in my head. But how should we approach the outlap and then start to like work on feeling things? Let's go down this rabbit hole.
So I do it before I even get to corners.
Okay.
You can do it on a straightaway because you're at such low speed and you're not risking spinning out as much. Because if you start to, I mean, you can push it into a corner. I eventually do, but before I get to that, just on the pit exit, or I'll find the first straightaway, and that's where I push the car into understeer while I'm still on a straightaway.
So in scrubbing,
Yeah,
right? Like so you
yeah, and scrubbing the tires. Yeah.
it's very common for us. Like we go out for practice under double
Uh-huh.
yellow. We come
Yep.
out of the pits. Let's say the first corner is a right hand turn, so we're all going to stay
Hmm.
to the right. We scrub in on the right half of the track because the left half of the track is for any vehicle that needs to go down, whether it's
Right.
EV or
Right.
maintenance or whatever.
Uh-huh.
That's the rule. You get to turn one, the track is yours
Right.
unless flags cover it otherwise. But you come
Right.
out of the pit, there's a right hand turn at turn one. We scrub that first half. Is that where you're starting to sort of like, okay, the front is more grippy than the rear right now? Like,
Right.
I'm pitching 45 degrees into the wheel.
Yep.
Like, let's walk through that. Like, how are you sort of breaking that down?
Yeah, so I'll find the first short straightaway or long straightaway that I find, I start to pitch the car left and right, and excessive. Like, I mean, I'm abusive to it. I turn way more than I need to turn to see when I can break the front, when I can get it to understeer. And they
And
all have a
quickly,
different
right?
point.
Like,
Quickly. Yes. I mean, this isn't smooth. You're beating the shit out of it immediately. And the first thing is the nose is let's crank way too much lock and let's see at what point it's not going to like this. And sometimes I got my left foot on the brake and I'm loading the nose. And obviously with that load, it's going to take a little more. I'll do it without the brakes. And I just I force it into understeer with multiple small scenarios and just make mental notes of how it responded to each one of them. And then once I feel happy about the front, then I go to the rear, and especially if it's a rear wheel drive car. Sometimes I do the rear first if it's like the Corvette or any of the BMW, the Porsche. I come out and I immediately throw it into a drift. Like, you know how drift guys do that side to side? What do they call it? Manji. I'll try to do that with the car. I'll start whipping it side, but obviously they're a bit more excessive. They're intentionally getting the wheel spin to just carry on. But I'll just whip it side to side and see how it responds, at what point it breaks the tire. Kind of like look at the RPMs and see when it begins to break the tire. How does it react once it breaks the tire? Is the spring soft? Is it loading up and gaining grip? Is it slipping away the more it loads? Sometimes the sway bars are real stiff. And so as it's not loading up, it's just kind of skidding away. And I make notes of all that. I go, oh shit, watch out for that. Watch out for this. Or I'll go, hey, this thing's super good here, so push it really hard. And yeah, I make all those notes as I'm going down a straightaway messing with the car.
Yeah. So I think the way you approach this shows to me that you are calm in the car and aware in the car because you're allowing the mental bandwidth to go, okay, we're going in this direction. Right. There's cars doing stuff behind me, in front of me, maybe, like whatever. But I'm worried about what my car is doing. I'm going to take mental notes. Oh, flag station, good. Like, you're going through your checklist.
Yep.
This is where being aware and confident in the car, which comes with time, to be honest, is important, because only when you have that awareness can you go concentrate on yourself, right? Some guys, when you're a rookie, it's been a while since you've been a rookie, so let's be real, right? Like, but when you're a rookie, I don't expect rookies to go out on the outlap and be like, yes, I can, let me do this. They're usually in some
There's
sort
other
of panic mode, right?
Right. Yeah. And I
like,
remember what that was like for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that first moment for me. Yeah.
We had a rookie this weekend. He was like, oh, what side am I going to be on? I was like, bro, I don't know. We have to qualify first. Yeah. And he was like, oh yeah. And then he's like, we're doing standing starts. Yes, we do standing starts in the Mid-Atlantic, right? Like we do this like men, like we're going to go. And he's like,
we break our transmissions.
I was like, pray for your transmission. But he drives a FG2 like I do. So it's like, put it in second, act like the green light went off, and like try to start that way. That's the best advice I can give him. Because if you dump it on second gear, it'll blow it up. If you dump it on first, it smokes the tires. Like, I tried to give him good advice, and I was like, this is Summit Point. There's 2 corners you need to worry about as a rookie. If you nail these corners, if you get comfortable in these 2 corners, you won't get lapped. Okay. Like, right. So, but as a rookie, there's a lot going on, right? He's been to this track. He did a Lemons race at this track. And I was like, hey, when you're going into turn 1, where's the flag station? And he had to think for a second. I was like, bro, turn 1 is a right-hand turn. It's on your right-hand side. Just look. Like, he's like, oh yeah. Okay. So he had a lot going on. When you're new, this will be, I won't say harder to apply, because there's some people who have the uptake, right? But as your comfort grows, start applying this tool on the outlap.
Yeah,
You need to
absolutely.
start learning how to feel your tires. It is one of the biggest things that's changed my driving is going out on the outlap. I watch Baker, right?
Right.
In the Integra. When I finally got fast enough to see him on the outlap, it he's tripoding his car on the
Right.
outlap, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
His
He's pushing it
Integra
and
is on
he's
three
reading it. Yep.
wheels, three
Yep.
wheel to three wheel, left to right to left
Yep.
to right. And I was like, what in the heck? So I was like, okay, I start jerking the wheel. I start,
Yeah.
crossing my arms, which I never cross my arms in my car. I don't
Right.
have to. Okay. But I started crossing my arms and I was like, oh, stay in the throttle and, pop it open,
Yep.
right? Like get it,
Yeah. Get
point
that
it
thing
where you
upset.
want it to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, and I was like, wait, I felt the rear. I felt the
Yep.
front come in. It's work. It's a
Right.
skill.
Mm-hmm.
And you started in a CRX and now have applied it to umpteen million cars. I feel like you've driven at this point, right? Like, so that's a really important skill. If you were to explain it to a noob, I'm
Uh-huh.
slightly a noob. Like I've sort of figured it out, but how should somebody approach this? So we know you can start slow on the outlap, but
Right.
can we explain that some more?
I guess one thing that comes to mind is with the front tires, right? Especially on the front wheel drive cars that you're racing and I was racing. One of the things that I still do is as I'm coming up to corners from time to time and I'm turning in, I turn in more than I have to. Like I intentionally overdrive the front end just to see how it responds. And it'll show you, you'll feel that point where it breaks and understeers, and then you could just bring it back and correct it. And it's a little, okay, you make a note for that corner. Okay, right at this point of the race, the tire has X amount of grip through this section here. And so I do that throughout the race, throughout the stint, kind of overturning it from time to time just to get a little feedback from it. And it's the same thing when you're going slow. You just feed it a little too much and see when it is too much. You just feed it till it's too much and make a note of what is too much. And that's a limit. Remember where that is. And I think anyone can do that. I think any rookie, any experienced driver can do that at low speed on the outlap. You could do it at high speed during your race. Just get that check in. Make sure we're still driving the car to the limit. Where is the limit? Let's overdrive this thing and find the limit real quick. And
Yeah, I think it's important. I think it's a skill few people talk about, finding the limit, crossing it a little bit, crossing it
yep,
safely. Even on the
yes,
session, it's race time, right? Like
yep,
we're going out. We have one lap. We're going to scrub in and go
mm-hmm.
door to door, wheel to wheel,
Yep,
right?
yep,
We need to find it. And to be honest, I feel like a lot of people don't do this a lot. Experienced
yeah,
guys don't do this. And when we break, the green flag drops in Honda Challenge
yep,
and we're barreling into turn one, they're the ones
mm-hmm.
still braking at their marker like they ran the whole
Yes,
straightaway. Didn't,
yep, yep. I
and they're
often
not
see that
ready to
mistake.
feel it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they go hit
Yeah.
their mark. That wasn't the mark.
That wasn't the mark on lap one, maybe
Yeah,
lap 2,
mm-hmm.
but not lap 1, right?
Yeah,
But then
yep,
the same thing applies, right? You're still on cold tires. So
mm-hmm.
as you go through it, this exercise, in my opinion, for finding the grip cold, will force your first lap to be faster than you
Yep,
ever thought your first lap could be.
yeah, absolutely. And
Because,
consequently, it brings your temperatures up. So now your tires are that much hotter for turn one.
right, correct. So you do it
Hmm.
on the warm up,
Mm-hmm.
increases your temperatures and pressures for lap 1.
Yep.
But when you apply it to lap 1, you're ready to race on lap 2 or 3.
Right.
Everybody's setup's a little different. I mean,
Right.
I can't give you a number, but I'll tell you this: if you're not ready to race me at lap 3, I'm out. I'm gone.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No, for sure.
You better be ready. Like, and
Yeah.
I'll fess up, I'm not fast, but my car will do from lap 2 to lap 20 the exact
Hmm.
same lap time. Period.
Right.
And that's how I set my car up.
Okay.
If you need an extra lap to get up to temp, okay, but you got that lap to make up, right?
Right. Right.
So it's important skill wise to go, can I force my car to be there?
Yep.
And
Yeah. Get
you've
everything up
done
to
that.
temperature. Yep. Yep.
And I think that's how you learned. I don't think it was I romped on the gas and it put my helmet back. You were halfway through that lap and you were like, the front tires are there, the rear tires are there if I want them to be. The car can get rowdy, the car can stay planted. Like, you went through this mental checklist of, I want to have fun, I want to
Hmm.
be competitive. And it took you, I don't know how many turns are at Chuckwalla. I don't even know.
It's got a lot of corners, but I mean, it was right away. As soon as I went out, I just knew, okay, I'm buying this.
Right.
This is the
It's
go. Yeah.
competitive. It's
Yeah.
it's everything you needed to be plus some. It's everything you wanted, and it was stockish, right? Stockish power,
Yeah.
reactions, Falcon tires, and you were ready to rip, right? Like, that's what they are. Personally, what I've heard is beginners don't get the Z06. When you blow up your LS, you can put a Z06 in when you're ready, like the Z06 freight engine.
Yeah.
But honestly, all the stuff bolts on. All the Z06 stuff will bolt on to your car when it's not a Z06. I just think there's so much that applies. It doesn't matter what you started with. Even if you start with a vet,
Right.
all the fundamentals apply, right?
Yep.
Are you
Yep.
doing your air pressures? Are you doing your temperatures? Are you dialing in your shocks? Are you working to
Hmm.
feel your tires, right? That's it.
Yep.
One of the biggest things people ignore. I have
Yeah.
friends who are like, "Yeah, I don't know about this feeling tires thing." And I was like, "You should learn about it. You should figure it out. It's
Yeah.
important."
Yeah. Maybe
Um,
that's the problem with someone buying something like a Corvette for their first car, is that power, the aero, it makes up so much that they're not forced to learn, perhaps. Where you and I, starting off in shitty Hondas, we had to learn everything because the cars are slow,
yeah, but
and we needed to maximize everything.
if you take 60, 70 horsepower out of your car, if you started in like a C4 or a base C5, you kind of got to figure that out, right? Like, it has enough power to break away from you, but
Hmm.
not instantly, right? Like,
Right.
especially if you put big meat on it or good
Hmm.
tires on it right away.
Right.
I'm seriously talking myself into a Corvette, and my wife, she's probably on the other side of this door looking at me like I'm crazy, but I, I just feel like,
We'll show her the numbers. Just look, I'll send you what I got
no,
into mine, and then we'll go, hey,
she's
look,
like
see, this
all the
just makes sense.
rando normal guys with New Balance and cutoff jeans wear this, and you're not that person. So I,
Dude,
but go ahead.
yeah. So that's the thing. I was talking to another Corvette guy yesterday. It is so not what I expected, like dealing with the people in the Corvette community. 90% of them are Honda guys. Like so there's two types of younger Corvette owners. They had a
Okay.
Honda and now they got a vet. I don't know why or how we end up there, but here we are. And
They
then the
can't
other
afford the
bunch,
Porsche. They can't afford the GT3, right?
right? Yeah, that was
Nobody
one of
wants
them.
to put
Yeah,
right. Nobody wants to put
yeah,
bearings in their M3, right?
right.
Nobody wants the V8 M3
God,
is
that's a
out. It's got a
nightmare.
bearing
Yeah,
service and welding subframes. So you just skip
yeah,
you skip to the
right.
front.
Yeah, and then there's another batch that's all former Porsche guys that had Porsches, and they said this shit's way too expensive and it's not worth it. So then
Yeah.
they just come back, take it back a few notches and get themselves a Corvette.
Yeah, but
And
they probably have blowers and all sorts of crazy stuff. They got to have the power still, But
I
that's the thing.
I do, yeah.
It fits a niche.
Hmm.
It's like the happy medium. It's crazy. It's an affordable
Yeah.
happy medium, and I hate to beat the bush on this, but it's
and it's a cool community. Like I'll go on Instagram. Yesterday, another Corvette guy hits me up and he says, "Hey, so and so just 3D printed a bunch of front brake ducts. Do you want some?" And these are the messages I get from Corvette guys. When I was dropping the transaxle, I just got a bunch of advice on what I needed, what I should use. Yeah, everyone's just been so supportive and so cool. It feels like I never left the Honda stuff because it's kind of the same people. It's a lot of them are the same
it's
people.
older Honda people.
Yeah,
You're
it's
gonna make
just
me go buy a Vette right now.
so yeah, you never leave the community. You just go do something different with them.
Okay, I just there's so much.
Doesn't Baker have a Corvette?
Yeah, he's building a Corvette to race.
Right? See, you might as well.
C6 Z06, I think.
Okay, even better.
Right. I mean,
yeah,
it's only money, right? We make it every day,
yeah.
sort of. Like,
yeah. I mean, do they print that shit out? Just get some.
Right. The government prints excess money. We make a little excess.
Yeah.
We try to beat the inflation curve and win, right? Like that's how we live. Yeah. I'm gonna leave politics out of this, but
yeah.
Anyway,
hey, can we make fun of Jaime for a minute?
Sure, let's go.
Yeah, so I let Jaime know that I don't remember how, but he finds out I got a Corvette. So he sees me post something on the Corvette, and he says to me, "Oh, cool, you're racing that next year, or you're racing that next." I said, "We, Jaime, have to deal with this." And he says, "Well, of course, whatever you race, I'm with you." And I said, "No, Jaime, this is mine." And then he's like, "Haha, yeah, anyways." I said, "No, Jaime, I bought this." He says, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I was like, "No, dude, I bought this. Like, this is mine, and we got to deal with this now." And he says, "Dude, I'm really happy for you for getting that, because it was around my birthday that I got it." He says, but God, he's like, "Why didn't you get a Honda?" He's like, "Why didn't you get this one?" Like, he was a little disappointed with me. And I was telling John about it. I was like, "Dude, Jaime's genuinely disappointed with me because I could have had an S2000 or something else." And then he finally says to me, "Well, at least it doesn't have wheel bolts."
True.
I'm like, "Dude, you're so salty."
So we were literally driving home from Summit Point, and this red, the Civic Type R, the new one, came driving by. It was lowered. Okay. It had the factory wing, but it had some stanchion uprights added to it, so it was a little bit bigger.
Yep.
And it had, I think it had knockoffs. I think it had Volk knockoffs on it or something. And
those are even faster. Those are even faster nowadays.
I sent my wife a text message and I was like, "Forget the fit. This is my next daily driver," right? Like that one, right? The red one right there. She's behind me or whatever. We're towing home. And she's like, "Okay, as long as we can afford it." And so I sent her a message back. I was like, "I can't keep that stock. My Honda Fit's stock as hell. But if I get a Type R, there's no way it stays stock, right? We're going to turn up the boost. We're going to cool everything down, and I'm going to be a hot boy again, right?"
Yep, E85, bigger wing.
Yeah, all of it. Yeah. Street driving a splitter down 1.5 miles of gravel road, I don't care. Send it. We'll build another splitter when I get home, right?
Exactly. That's what Home Depot's for.
No. Custom. Let's go. So, but the Vettes, every time, okay, I live in an area where there's a bunch of those 365 camera kids that they have the Camaros and the Vettes and there's a CTSV and some other stuff going on down the street. And I go to work early enough where they're coming home sometimes Sunday nights. They're coming home when I'm going to work on Monday morning kind of thing. And I'm like, man, I know he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, but that car sounds gnarly. So, and the Type R with the turbo, she's quiet, man. She's really quiet. I just don't know if I could handle that. So,
I don't know, dude. I'm running the numbers for you, and I think a Corvette makes more sense.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are easy numbers, actually.
It is.
Because the new, what is it? It's not an FA5. FA5s are an 8th gen, I think. I don't remember.
Is it FL5?
Maybe it's a FL5 Type R. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. Somebody will fix me in the comment section somewhere.
Yeah.
The new Type R, the prices, seriously,
How much are they? How much are they now?
50 at least.
I mean,
imagine the C5 Z06 you could build with 50.
Oh yeah, dude, they don't have 50 in mine, or I don't have 50 in mine. I don't have half of that. Yeah,
and you could turn up the pow and add more meat and throw some aero at it and street drive the snot out of it. It's disgusting.
Yeah. For half that money, for half that money, there's not a lot of Hondas that are going to keep up with it.
Yeah.
So like, money wise, it just makes so much sense.
Yeah. And the economy sucks. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
We need to watch our budget, right?
Yeah. Dude, right before I bought the Vette, my younger brother just had a baby. And he calls me up, says, "Hey, I think it's time that my S2000 goes. You want to buy it from me?" And so that was another option for me, is to just pick up my brother's S2000. And I ran the numbers on it. He's had it for about 15 years. I just ran the numbers of all the shit I had to do to make it track worthy. There was so much money.
You should have let me know. My wife needs a daily driver. But
he still has it.
Okay. Let's not talk about that.
that could be arranged.
Let's go into the segment, because you have a lot of my 2026 segment. You have a lot of experience in different cars with different ABS. So the question is, if you build a race car, do you build a race car with ABS or not with ABS?
Absolutely, not a question about it.
So
and not all ABS is. Oh, absolutely, dude. You must have ABS. I mean, it's ridiculous the advantage that it is, and not all ABSs are the same.
Correct. I can tell you that. I can tell you that it's not the same.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get the guys at G-Lock back on the podcast, because we talked and they wanted to come on. Now I'm fighting my car again, but I have time. They gave me a plethora of pads to test.
Okay.
Like 16, 14, 12, 10s, fronts, rears, every combination. And I can tell you that what they recommended didn't do what my car liked the best for my driving style. So there's two things: your car and your driving style. Okay.
Yep.
And they have to cross somewhere, and wherever they cross, there's a small grouping of pads you should buy. Right.
Yep. I agree. Yep.
And period. And I'm going to get into this at the end of the year podcast. Maybe I bring you back on so we can talk about this, because it's a feels thing, right? Like I feel absolutely. Like it's a confidence thing. We'll get into more of it later, but if you're not confident, it doesn't work.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the bottom line of driving a race car.
So, okay. So since you answered yes, the question B is, when you have ABS on your car, I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, but when you have ABS on your car, do you just mash on it, or do you like ease into it, or how do you operate your ABS?
Once I know the track in the car, I have corners where I will use the ABS and corners where I will not use the ABS.
Okay.
And that determines how hard I hit the pedal as I come into the brake zone or as I enter the brake zone. If it's, Willow Springs front straightaway into turn 1, I'm going to maximum G, full braking force into that one. So I, go as deep as I can till I think I'm going to kill myself. And then I try to kick the pedal through the firewall as hard as I can and just hang on to it until I feel like I've decreased my speed just enough. And then I back off the pedal just enough to shut off the ABS to where now controlling the brakes without the ABS pump engaging.
Okay. That's interesting. I think I need to bring you and Tom O'Gorman on the podcast and we can talk this out, because I think he talked to me offline a little differently than you just described, but I bet he does something the same. And then I bet what he described you do too, but in different situations. And I think it would be a good time to talk about.
Yeah, I know that whatever he's doing would work because that guy's really fucking good. I've seen him drive. Whatever he's doing, I take his word for
it. Right. And me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carlos, it's been a pleasure, man. I can't wait to see the next level with your C5 Corvette. I think it's a C5, right?
Yeah, C5. Yeah.
Yeah, C5 Z06 in yellow. I think to pay homage to your CRX, you should paint it Y49.
So I was gonna paint it black originally. So as soon as I bought it, I wanted to paint it black. And a friend of mine who's a big Corvette person said, "Dude, don't do it. The yellows are I don't know what. There's only so many yellows in the Z06. You can't change the color." Yeah. I said, whatever, fine. I guess it saves me the money.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like a Y49 Corvette sort of like melds everything together. But,
okay, what the hell is a Y49?
Oh man, you're a Honda guy that doesn't know about the curse of the Y49. You probably shouldn't put it on your car anyway. But just when we're off the podcast, Google curse of the Y49.
Okay.
And it'll tell you all about it. I owned one. I owned one for like 3 weeks.
Okay.
And it died a miserable death. I had a Y49 88 CRX and the light turned green and I was like, sweet, time to go. And I took off and a V6 Toyota Camry ran the red light, stuffed me in the driver door and turned the thing into a U. I landed with, I had my seatbelt on and I was in the passenger seat. You know, the whole door seatbelt setup on those cars?
Yeah, the retracting things. Yeah.
Yeah. It gave up the ghost and I ended up in the passenger seat.
Dude, I want nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to either.
My car's made of fiberglass. I don't want that smoke.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I think Y49 is beautiful, but there's a curse. But look it up. So.
Okay, I will.
Carlos, I really appreciate you actually coming on and talking about feeling tires because that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And really talking about the story of the new Miata, the Vette.
Yeah, the XL Miata plus size.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the C6 is much bigger than C5, but
they're close. They're pretty close.
I heard the wheelbase is different and the back end is bigger on the C6, but
might be. I don't know enough. I'm new to the New Balance game, so it might be.
Yeah, it's brand new to the New Balance game. Hey, hit him up on Instagram. Send him some fresh New Balance once he answers your DM to what size his shoes size is. Send him some freshies because white on white, they are only good for one night. So he's trying to go out and be fresh all the time. So.
All the time, man.
All right. Carlos, it's been a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, man.
All right, let's